This is the plaintiff, Matthew Greminger. He says he rents out studio space for singers and songwriters to record their tracks and had a contract with the defendant for 6 months. Everything was fine for the first few months. Then his equipment started to disappear and his studio stunk from pot. His landlord started complaining and it became an issue, and a short time later the defendant vanished. The guy still owes him per their agreement. Can't just run away from his responsibilities, so he's suing for the $2,324.99 he is still owed. This is the defendant, Marshawn Minter. He says the plaintiff was the one who locked him out by changing the security system and locks to the studio. Now the guy's suing him for rent when it was impossible for him or his musicians to get in? Is he serious? The plaintiff broke the contract. It's that simple. He's accused of having too much fun at work.
Thank you, Douglas. Matthew Greminger and Gremmin M Studio Entertainment. You are suing Marshawn Minter, doing business as Live Life Fresh Entertainment. Okay. You are suing them for $2,324.99 in damages for rent you say is owed to you, late fees, and the cost to upgrade equipment.
Yes, ma'am.
On a tenancy that you say he has defaulted on. Tell me what's going on.
On April 4th, I went into an agreement with Mr. Minter. I have an entertainment company, and I lease out, on a shared agreement, the space when I'm not using it. I have a scheduling system that's implemented, and it's in the contract that if I'm using it, he doesn't book a session. If he's booking a session, I don't book a session. And a friend of mine referred Marshawn to me and said, you know, he's looking for a tenant.
And what do people do in this space? What do you mean?
Record demos and songs and things of that nature. Marshawn said, I'll agree to go into the contract if you upgrade your equipment. And I agreed to do that.
Okay.
And
at his cost or at your cost?
At my cost.
Okay, but you're suing him now for that. Why?
Well, it was he said that was the only way he'd sign the agreement. Because
Right.
I'd had people in the past.
But why does
sign
that
the
mean he has
agreement.
to pay for it if you just said it was at your cost?
Well, the only reason is because I got the equipment to...
I know, but at the time that you got the agreement, when I asked you who's supposed to pay for it, you go, I am. Well, then why are you suing him for it? Because you're mad at him?
Well,
okay, I think I got my answer. All right, so move on. So now, when do you have a written contract with him?
Yes.
May I see it?
Mm-hmm.
So he signs this agreement. He's going to pay you $500 a month.
Yes, ma'am. When the first 2 months, we paid on time and everything was going good. The third month, I only received half a payment.
That's half of June that you're suing for.
Yes.
And then July, August, and September rent. Were you calling him to get rent all those months?
I called. I was calling for a while. And then after a while, he just stopped answering my calls. And I'd call, you know, every couple days and said, you know.
Did you have some other problem with him as well?
Well, the building manager had come to me several times and said that there were people from my studio in the hallways and in the lobby loitering and distracting other people and causing commotion. And he said on a couple occasions that there were people in the parking lot that were coming out and in and out of my studio that were smoking marijuana.
So had you ever broached that with him?
I mentioned it. I
said. Was that before June and he stopped paying, or
that
after
was
June?
Before June.
It was before June. So you guys
Yes.
squared that away and there was no problem with that?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. According to you, he locked you out, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
The way I arranged it, I said my business partner is going to bring you the first half of June.
Oh, first half. Well,
yes.
what happened in the second half?
We went through phone tag. I called him. He didn't answer. He called me. He missed me. I didn't answer. Then he said he was going out of town, and when he came back, he had talked to me then. And then after, when he came back out of town, I get a phone call and said, you know, he's saying, Mr. Greminger saying somebody broke into the studio, some equipment was missing.
What happened there?
There was a break-in, a breach of security at the studio.
What breach of security is a conclusion on your part. What actually happened? A break-in? Like the door was broken? What happened?
The door wasn't broken. The alarm system went off, and but it wasn't broken. So somebody with a key entered without
While an alarm was on.
Right.
Who doesn't have the code?
There's only
the two of you have the code.
Well, it's actually a remote that turns it on and off, and the keys.
So whoever
the keys will
entered
open
didn't have
the door.
remote, and the two of you have the remote.
Right. Well, I had a remote, and
Well, he had a remote, right?
He the remote that he had, he gave to the engineer.
So who came in?
I don't know.
Okay, and so was anything stolen?
To best of my knowledge, no.
Okay.
We searched and nothing that we could.
Okay, so what
find was
happened? Why are
stolen.
you paying rent? What's going on?
First, he accused us of these accusations.
What accusations? Nothing was stolen. So what's the accusation?
He called me on the phone and he said there was some stuff that happened in the studio. Some items came up missing, and then also
Okay,
I
did
had
you tell him
on
stuff was missing?
No, I never said anything about missing. I said somebody entered the studio and the alarm went off, and I was asking, "What were you at the studio? Did you come in?"
Okay, so you didn't like
alarm
that because you felt it was accusatory. And what else?
We actually tried to go into the studio because we had a session and they couldn't get in
Why?
because the doors were locked. The security system was changed. The keys didn't
Did you
work.
change your security system when they were behind?
Not in June. It was a couple
July?
months down the line.
How many months down the line?
It was about the end of July. I changed the locks.
At the end of July. Is
No.
the timing there correct?
No, because we tried to use the studio.
What
I'd say
what date was it? Show me the recorded time that you had slotted. Do you have the printout from the internet?
I don't have the
Yeah, of course
printout
not.
from the
internet.
internet.
And then so you tried to use it. You say it was earlier than the end of July. He says it was July. You agree that you locked out the person you're subletting to.
I was trying to contact him to say, look, if you pay your rent, I have the key to the new lock.
I know that's what we call an illegal lockout.
Well,
So can a landlord change the locks if a tenant stops paying rent?
No, he can't do that.
Anybody think he can do that?
Yeah, sure, why not? He owns the place. You're not paying. Get out.
We will just find out about that going inside the courtroom.
if it wasn't him that had went into the studio and gotten in, that's why it was important that I changed the locks in case somebody else had.
Oh, that's not why you changed it. I changed the locks because the guy wasn't paying you rent. What did you?
Well, at the
That was
time,
funny though. You like
no,
that?
there was one
you
other
like
person.
That? Yeah, right. Come on, you changed the lock for the same reason any other person would have changed the locks if they decided to not follow the law. And the only reason people do that is because the person isn't paying rent. Why should they get to record there if they're not paying rent? Makes perfect, like, karma sense. It's just that it's not like legal. And if you're angry about whatever it is your landlord's like, not treating you with respect, or there's accusations of stuff that your employees, friends, associates, whatever are doing that you feel are false, plus coupled with the little discomfort of him asking you, did somebody come in here who wasn't supposed, whatever it is that you don't like, you have an out in your lease. The out in your lease is to pay 1 month and give notice. That's it. That's all you got to do. But you didn't do that. You just you say, you did nothing is what you didn't pay the other half of June, and then you didn't pay July. The best case scenario for you is it's July when he goes in, because you admit to July changing the locks, but you're suing for half of June, July, August, and September when you've locked him out.
Well, that's why I did try, and I left voicemails saying I changed the locks, I have the keys that you can pick up.
Is that accurate?
I never got a call saying that.
Can you prove what you just said? Anyway, like a text, an email. Let me show you guys how it's done. People come into court with something other than their flapping gums and their empty pockets. They bring me evidence. And here's how the evidence works. It's super clear. You guys email each other and text each other every time you take a breath, your generation. But I don't have one single text or email from either one of you about this situation, do I? I'm going to order you to pay the rest of June. Like you should have. I know you were in there in June. I'm going to order you to pay half of July. I'm going to order the defendant to pay the plaintiff the sum of $500 in this lawsuit. Verdict for the plaintiff. That's because you changed the locks. If you had any evidence of what you were saying, it would be oh so cool.
Yeah.
But you don't. Certified letter, email, text, anything.
All right, just hold on right there, guys, please.
All right, so let's see what the defendant has to say. Plaintiff will be collecting a little bit on you. What's your reaction to this?
I really don't think that he should collect anything because, for one, he locked us out, and I couldn't use the studio. So, why should I have to pay anything on something that I can't use?
Well, you used it in June, right?
We used it a part of June, but part of June was paid for. So
part
of June. The later half,
What happened to the stuff? The stuff disappeared there, or there was a break-in? What do you think happened there?
I have no idea what happened. So he claimed. He said that he was going to set up something to where he could sit down, and he said he actually had footage of something happening. So he said he was going to sit down, set up a meeting and sit down with us you know, so he could show me what's actually going on. Never got that call. That never happened.
All right, documents are waiting for you there at the end of the hallway there. All right, so step in here. You're satisfied with what you came out with?
I feel like he did owe till the end of the contract. I did try to contact him about.
Well, the judge gave you a little lesson in the law there?
Yeah. I should have, I wasn't trying to lock him up, but I should have gotten some sort of record or recording of what I sent him.
Yeah, should have. No evidence, but so what do you produce in the studio there? And anything good? Anybody good?
Music.
Anything?
I've worked with some pretty cool artists in Cleveland.
All right, well,
Mostly,
good luck.
yes.
Harvey?
Okay, so you should know that it is a cardinal sin for a landlord to change the locks, even if the tenant really did the landlord wrong. And in some states, there is actually a provision for punitive damages or double or triple damages that the tenant actually suffers if the landlord does it. It's that serious a thing that the legislators wanted to make sure that landlords simply don't do it.